How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. It's a 5-star podcast. It's the 4 men in the building as usual. James, Lee and Jordan. Big smiles on all faces. It's a 5-0 win against Chelsea we're going to talk about. And it's a big North London derby this Sunday that we're going to preview. So make sure you're here, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, put the notification bell on. All of that good stuff, people. First and foremost, James, Lee, Jordan. How are you guys? All good?
We are buzzing, bro. We are buzzing.
Well, I've had worse nights, Jordan. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, of course he's buzzing. He saw those highlights and thought,
great.
What
it was a great 2-minute package that on TNT.
That's 2 minutes of his life, man. What's got it like?
Nah, man. It's also because I've said before, I know we've got Spurs on the weekend and obviously there are a bit of rivals, but Chelsea, the team that I dislike the most. I actually dislike Chelsea more than Spurs, so any chance we get to smash them lot, it's a good day.
It definitely was a good day, good night, and it's a good morning. Like I said, hit the like button, people. Before we get into the show and the bulk of it, because there's a lot to talk about, big up StakeMate. As you can see on the screen, StakeMate are sponsoring the Fourever Arsenal podcast. They are the UK's leading social football betting app. If you're tired of the hassle of sharing bets with your friends, then StakeMate is for you. StakeMate makes football betting more social by bringing mates together with features like bet builders, chat and share, the ability to instantly copy a friend's bet with a tap of the button. Their new group bet feature makes group accumulators a breeze, allowing you to create, share, discuss, pay for bets with your friends, all of that. You can also follow updates in real time as well as collect your winnings, all in the same app. We're going to be making a group bet of our own later on in this show for the North London derby, so make sure you're right here, people. Sign up to StakeMate and you can play along too. And if you use the code AFTV5, you get 2 free £5 group bets plus an additional free £5 bet for a limited time only up until the 10th of May. So get it in now, people. The link is in the description. The link is in the comment section below. Click the link below, scan the QR code on the screen to download StakeMate. The app is currently only available on iOS, but don't worry, Android users. Hopefully one day you can level up and get an iPhone, and then you can get yourself StakeMate too. Thanks again to StakeMate users must be 18 and in the UK. Please gamble responsibly and visit begambleaware.org. Any of you lot Android users?
No.
Nope.
No.
Used to be.
Okay. That's why we're the team. The iOS users all day. Come on.
What are you giggling about, Lou?
Can we just cut this bit for a second? Because every time I think about it, I think of Greg's. I don't know what's going on about that. It's unreal.
Stevie. Lee's been thinking steak bake.
I'm thinking, I'm going to get a sausage roll with this. I'll tell you what's going on.
Listen, I've seen people making bets while having a steak bake, mate. So listen, steak bake, they can work hand in hand. They can work hand in hand, people. Make sure your belly's full when you're making the bets, because it could be, you need to be thinking very clearly. So big up steak mate. They're sponsoring the show. Steak bakes are quite nice too. Greg's are not sponsoring the show. Jordan.
Can I just say that's back-to-back sponsored shows now? Are we like an official proper podcast now? Like, are we like a really...
What happened with that awards? I was waiting for that to get over the line.
That's next month.
I'm saying it's going to be floating in my bank account.
You're still in that?
Next month, the whole calendar year.
I'm saying it's going to be floating in my bank account, not out of it. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with these sponsors.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna have to talk to the main man, and that ain't me, that ain't James, that ain't Jordan. So Robbie will be getting a call after this show. People, like I said last time, Matt, you show the sponsor some love, the sponsor shows us some love. I know there's a lot of requests for a live show. We're working on it. Hopefully in the summer, hopefully at the end of the season, we can give you something. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. It makes sense. The most engaging show on this platform, and that's because of you guys and girls out there showing love to it all the time. So yeah, big up everyone. Fourever Arsenal's come a long way in the last few years. Let's get into it though. A lot of football to talk about. 5-0, 5-star performance, clean sheet, London derby. It's about time we smoked Chelsea, and Chelsea were most certainly smoked last night. Lee.
Yeah.
I was there. You was there. Let's start with Jordan.
Yeah, it's not often we hear from Jordan buzzing, you know what I mean? Certainly,
Well,
Let's hear from him before it turns into. I've got two negatives to bring up. I'm gonna
the
think.
thing
Yeah,
is,
go on,
I
Jordan.
don't really have a positive or negative. The thing is, I'm not just saying this because I haven't got long and I've got to go soon. I'm not just saying it. But I actually think there's not a lot to chat about this game. I think the interesting thing is the Spurs preview rather than the Chelsea review. Chelsea are rubbish. Chelsea are absolutely, they're awful. They should be embarrassed, and all their fan channels and podcasts can discuss the demise of their football club. But I watched the game, and I did watch the whole game, as I always do. And it felt like it was Arsenal versus just any team in 13th, 14th, 15th. It didn't feel like it was Chelsea. I don't really know, in terms of analysis, what to say about it. We were really good. They were really, really poor. Kai Havertz, I mean, there's lots of narratives there, of course. Kai Havertz getting a couple of goals, being laughed at by Chelsea fans and even Arsenal fans, and him coming good. He celebrated as well, which I'm happy about. I'm glad he celebrated. I hate when players don't celebrate against their former teams. So that was a big tick. Partey starting, I think you see the difference. You see the difference that Partey brings. And that's not to say that he's necessarily better than Jorginho, but I think he brings an athleticism and a dynamism that Jorginho doesn't. I think Jorginho brings you a level of control and possession that Partey doesn't. But having Partey back in the 11, I think I saw a stat, it's the first time Rice, Partey and Odegaard have played together since the Charity Shield match this season, which says a lot. Saka, I thought, was okay without being spectacular. I don't know. I'm more happy to listen to you guys because I've got more to say about the Spurs game, if I'm being honest, than I do about this game.
Let's start with Partey, and I think, it's not often we've talked about Partey in a good light this season because there's been nothing good to talk about. He ain't been available majority of it, but when we see him, straight away you notice what we've missed. I have to always say credit to Jorginho because I said he's helped us or made us forget about Thomas Partey throughout this season. I think forget about is a bit harsh, but his performances, haven't led to Partey's injury costing us. But when you see Partey step in, a 10-10 Partey, an on-form Partey, a Partey on his day is our best midfielder. Full stop. Obviously, his age is getting on. Injuries are piling up. Declan Rice has come through the door, primed, mid-20s, big transfer fee, and he's taken the reins in midfield. But we can't forget Thomas Partey and what he brings. The pace of which he moves the ball is probably the most important thing because Jorginho moves the ball great. Declan Rice, progresses the ball well. But the pace that Partey works at on the ball is perfect. And I'm not just talking about fast all the time. If he needs to slow it down, he'll slow it down. If he needs to turn out, he'll turn out. He's always available for the ball. He doesn't shy away from things. If he can stay fit, for me, he starts the rest of the games this season. If he can stay fit for the rest of the games this season, then I'd roll the dice and say, all right, see you a year out next year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you can remain injury free, but not rely upon him. But just 2 weeks ago, I thought Partey this summer we need to get rid. Lee.
Yeah, just a little reminder that that he can play next season if fit and available. I'm with you. I'm thinking, we need to get rid of him and sign somebody else. But then he produces a performance like that. You think to yourself, well, okay, we'll give another year. He's forgiven because it was brilliant. It wasn't just his play on the ball; it was off the ball as well, winning tackles, driving forward. Just makes that midfield role look easy. And I've always said that. He makes it look easy and it's not. And he looks like he's got more time on the ball than anybody else. But what I really liked yesterday was he's prepared. And at one time, I think he made he's prepared to go through the lines with his passes as well. He can play short. He can play it long. He's got the range of passes that I think, if I'll be really honest, nobody else has got. And if you would have said last season, and who's the best holding midfield players, you would have said Partey and Rodri, not Declan Rice, even though Declan Rice has been fantastic. But I also think yesterday, him playing like he did, we see what we've got with Declan Rice. Declan Rice was all over the place yesterday, 100%. Driving forward, would we have got that goal last week or against Villa if when he's drove into the box and I'm not so sure, because we're having to keep him at the base. But he was in positions yesterday which were really hurting Chelsea, and that's all because of Thomas Partey. And I thought it was a really good performance. I actually thought we got better as the game went on. I felt in the first half Chelsea looked very, very dangerous on the break. There was a few times we didn't get to grips with it. But once we did, and I think that, that's on the manager, because I think in the last couple of half times, we've had good first halves and then we've dropped in the second half and lost games. But yesterday, it was a game where we needed something to be tactically moved around. He'd done that. And I thought second half, we was really, really good and Chelsea were really, really poor. And the best thing about it, I have to say, we're resting players with 70 minutes gone, like against Chelsea. That's we're in dreamland when that happens. And I just want to put on a point what Jordan said there before he gets hammered by everybody, about the Chelsea thing. I totally get what he's saying about that. There's a hatred of Arsenal and Spurs which is ingrained in you. It's you. Because you're Arsenal, you've got to dislike them. They've got to dislike that. That's part of the makeup of being an Arsenal fan. But I agree with what he says. I detest Chelsea for completely different reasons to the Arsenal and Spurs thing. So to beat them 5-0, see all their fans going home early, love it. And do you know what? I have got a negative. It weren't more. I wanted more against them. You know what I mean? And I couldn't believe it. That's our record win against them. So they was there to be smashed 6 or 7. I know, it's big. And can I say this? If it weren't for arresting the players, we would have. And I'm with Jordan on this. The highlight for me, of course, all the goals is when Kai Havertz scores. He didn't go into space and everything like that. He give it with the fans, and I loved it, And I know Turkish has gone home by then, but that is a different thing, right? So it was that for me was fantastic when he give it the celebration. I was going mad because I wanted him so much to score against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've been giving him stick, and you know what? He knew it and all, and I loved him for it. I just like the guy. I can't help it, guys. I like him. I like everything about him. And for him to celebrate like he did, I was really, really happy. Bloody great night, boys. Bloody great night.
It is, and we might as well, actually, James, just get your thoughts on Partey, and then obviously we'll go into Havertz and Ben White. Both scored a couple goals, but worth talking about. Go on, James.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll give some more general thoughts on the game, though, not just on Partey, because we've wanted this midfield all season. We haven't been able to have it since the Community Shield. And we saw why. It frees up Declan Rice a little bit. Everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Jorginho, but is there that feeling that when Rice is playing there with Jorginho, he does have to still be that little bit more disciplined? I couldn't believe the areas he was picking up Declan Rice. He was wide hugging the touchline at times so Trossard can move in field. He was right on the last man, but he was also dropping in as well. It gave him such freedom to, a £100 million midfielder. You want to let them enjoy the game the way they need to a degree, but you need the players that facilitate that. But he wasn't the best midfielder on the pitch, Partey. It was Martin Ødegaard. He was the best player on the pitch. I was did a preview in Matisse, and he asked me, who should we be fearful of? And I said, it's Ødegaard. I think he's in the best form of his Arsenal career. And that might have been his best ever performance for Arsenal. Mm-hmm. It was utterly outstanding. It was... I don't know how many performances I've watched like that at the Emirates where I've just thought, we can, and people will say you're going too far, but if we get a title over the line, the conversations about world class won't be ridiculous. And when we're talking about, do you agree with that, Turkish?
100%. We win a league. Odegaard has this calendar year. If we're talking Player of the Year and we win the league, Rice and Odegaard, in my opinion, are the outstanding candidates. With a Saliba, I think they're all candidates. But sorry, James.
No, I agree. I wasn't sure because sometimes we're too quick to drop the world class word, and I still agree we've got a lot to see. But that performance yesterday was utterly mesmerising, from creating to pressing. He was doing everything. He was in the first phase, and then he was the decisive player in the final phase. I love that Ben White got his 2 goals. I love that shameless celebration for the second one, where he was like. Didn't mean it. But he was brilliant. I thought Saka was very good, actually. I thought this was one of the games where most things he did, the decision was right and he executed it. I thought Cucurella gave him a good battle, but Saka stood up to it. And Kai Havertz, I'm going to say it, first half he was awful. Being really honest. First half, it wasn't happening. He couldn't drive into space, he couldn't get his pass right. Second half, though, oh my word, he became clinical Kai out of nowhere, because that run, by the way, what an assist from Ødegaard, but that run and beyond, it's a great run. Yeah. Like, it's a really, to know that Ødegaard can play that pass, stay on side and attack it. When you've got that much space, it could be tempting to drift into an offside position, but times it brilliantly. Great finish. I think he scored a goal at the Emirates very similar to that, but for Chelsea in a pre-season friendly. And then the second was brilliant. It was a bit of a fuck it finish. He got
James,
it.
sorry, just before you, I'll let you kind of I know you're in full flow. Winning the league, beating Manchester City aside, a Kai Havertz hat-trick yesterday would have been the moment of the season. That against Chelsea. I mean, a hat-trick alone for Kai Havertz would have been amazing. But a Kai Havertz hat-trick against Chelsea would have been the moment of the season. And not only showing up Chelsea fans for bashing him, but like I said before, there's people on this podcast that, there's a bit of humble pie over there, and, let's get stuck in.
We can speak, but this convo can go left on a day. We need to be very positive. I know. Because James was very honest first half.
I was fuming with him first half.
Second half.
I was fuming with him. When he should have shot, he and he passed it. I was fuming with him at that.
That stuff, do you know, Lee, that stuff didn't annoy me as much, actually. That's the thing with Kai. The passing we should have shot and shooting we should have passed, that stuff didn't bother me, because we're talking about the final action, the difficult bit, which is putting the ball in the back of the net. It was everything else. It was the whole
Jordan just tried to... Is he Kaka yet? Is he Kaka yet? Nah.
James, you know what's fun? That whole time you were talking, James Turk was thinking, what? Did Jordan just come for me?
I was thinking this.
Yeah, he did. He was fully internalising it. Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Nah, you're right. But no, second half though, he was like, look, I'm in Harris to put it in the back of the net. Let me just do it, and he did, which was great. I think there was a moment which it was the corner that resulted in our second goal, Ben White's first, where Ødegaard rolls that lovely ball in behind, and Havertz with his right foot forces save from Petrovic to get the corner. The one thing Havertz, because I keep sort of working out, what does Havertz have over Jesus? Because I actually don't think it's much. I think Jesus is a better tight spaces player, more flair, more skill. I think Havertz has more like natural striker's movement. Like, I think that run off the ball to get into really dangerous areas, he was actually doing that all game, despite me being really frustrated for his first 50 minutes of the game. And that is something he does. We've talked about movement, but you really see it when he's up front. So fair play to him for that. Final thing I'll say on all this is, I'm of an age where I went to school with Chelsea fans and Chelsea in their pomp at their best, like winning Champions Leagues, titles, going through manager after manager, seeing some of the world's best arrive at their club, and they were the bane of my life, man. It was just, I hated it. Just Chelsea fans all around me. People who I was convinced, like, you don't watch football, you say you're a Chelsea fan. It was relentless. To not only beat them, because let's face it, the last few years they've had nothing on us. Not in fixtures, not in the table. And even when it comes to trophies, this is their second, the Champions League was obviously 3 years ago, which is annoying. But the last couple of years, they've had nothing on us, despite the money they spent, trying to claw back the glory days by just spending.
Arteta's record against Chelsea is really, really good. I think his first game,
really good.
His first ever game, I think, was against Chelsea. I think it was.
Yes, it was at home at the Emirates. I was there. We lost 2-1, but we battered
we lose
them.
that one. Okay, take it back.
Yeah, we did. But I just wanted to say that when we were shit, Man United let us know, and Liverpool let us know, and Chelsea let us know. I'm not talking the table, because they were 30 points ahead of Chelsea now. And we could all brag about that. Hey, we're 30 points ahead. But to actually, in 90 minutes, flex and show them, no, we are this much better than you. Don't tell me Cole Palmer was missing. Don't tell me Gusto and James. No one is going to sympathise for a £1 billion squad. Nobody is going to sympathise. They made City work hard for it the other day, and they've been good in these big 6 games. They had Thiago Silva and Chalobah on the bench. That's not our problem. They had a £200 million midfield, and that doesn't include their supposed best midfielder of the season in Gallagher. Well, outside of Palmer. So, to actually, when we went in at half-time 1-0, I saw a tweet from Elliot from Arsenal Vision. He said, I just feel like if we get one more, this will be 3 or 4, and he was spot on. And I kind of was thinking as well, like, we'll just get that second, and we'll just, it'll rain goals. And it did. And I'm so glad. I've seen us 3-0 up at half-time against them last season. We didn't score in the second half. I've seen us 3-0 up at half-time against Man United. We didn't get more in the second half. I've seen us do this to a few teams. To actually hit that 5, and again, it should have been more, was really satisfying because we've been we've been in a position to do that a lot over the last, over actually the last 10 years we've been in positions to do this to teams where they've done it to us and we never did. I'm so glad we did because they deserved it and we deserved it.
100%. I hope that's the start of putting these ex-big teams to the sword now. Because like you said, they used to have their way with us. 8-2, 6-0 on Wenger's 1000th game. Man City and Liverpool, how many times away from home, how many times at home. It's about time we've done this to one of them. And we've got 2 of them still to go this season. And we can look at that as 2 difficult ones, or we can look at it as go do them as well. Because over those years, Tottenham were finishing above us. They had all the chat. They had all the chat about closing the gap, when in reality, the gap got bigger. We won trophies in the time that they was finishing above us. That is what the gap, means, trophies at the end of the day. Man United, they go on about 20 years. You can't get to 20 without 10. They're on their 11th. Who's got the brighter future right now? Us. I want to go smoke, I want to smoke United. I want to smoke Tottenham. But obviously, I don't want to get carried away with it. But I'm glad to see that because Arsenal's name in this Emirates era was dragged through the mud. And these big losses against these big teams was a big part of that too. Never mind the small little silly ones we used to do and lose to teams we should never be losing to. The way we got smoked by some of these teams. Like James said, growing up, Chelsea for him. Growing up, it was United for me at school. So can you imagine, once we sell Van Persie to United, once we haven't gone how many years without a league title, getting thumped left, right and centre against the big teams. Finally, I think, we are back at the big time. Top table. We're eating well in terms of competing for major trophies. I think this result was a benchmark now. Mentally, psychologically, I think now this team should know Chelsea's a name. That's all they are right now, a name. Aston Villa were a name once upon a time. Nottingham Forest were a name once upon a time. Names, they last, heritage lasts, but the reality doesn't mean anything today. And that's how Arsenal got to look at it against Tottenham this Sunday as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I just want to say that.
Go on.
Have you seen? You get talk about Odegaard. At times, he was a little bit frustrating me in the first half. There was a few things that didn't quite go off and everything like that. But in the second half, have you ever seen 2 better balls in one game than what I don't think I have.
Last show I did see 2 better balls. Last show I saw 2 better balls. I did.
Don't know about better, but I saw 2 balls.
Well, smoother.
Smooth balls.
Let's say smoother.
Not happy about that, by the way. I can't.
Did you line that joke up, or did you?
Well,
because that was perfect.
Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I'm a comic and I don't know it, like, you know what I mean? But
we're a double act. Me and Leo are a double act. We planned this before the show.
What that first one for Kai Havertz, if you have a look at it, you know what I mean? That is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable pass.
Beautiful.
And it's not just his passing that I admire. It's the way he creates space for himself in tight areas, and then he's looking. The thing is, with what I liked about him yesterday in his performance is he's looking always, and that's why he makes mistakes. I'm not saying makes mistakes, gives away the ball on a few occasions because he's looking on the front foot all the time, looking for that defence splitting pass, and he's got the ability to do it. And I'm going to say it now, I think he is world class in that position. I really do. Is there anybody better than him in that position? I don't think there is now. Real Madrid missed a trick when they let him go for that amount of money. But very interesting what Mikel Arteta was saying yesterday about it. I don't know if you see it when he was saying that we see the potential when we went for it, and we felt that we could make him better. And And I think also the other thing is, which is a really good thing that he said, I don't know if he said it on this one or whatever, that we've got a young squad that are willing and want to learn, want to get better, want to work hard and get better. And you can see that with all of them. You know, Ben White has improved now. You can't deny that. And I'll tell you the thing about Odegaard yesterday. He was all over the place. Normally he goes down the right-hand side with Saka and that. He didn't. He was all over the place. Is that maybe because Thomas Partey's in the side that he feels that he can miss out, lose his shape a little bit? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But also on Saka, I just have to say this one thing. He played really well yesterday because Chelsea only had one player against him. You know, and I thought Kukurek had done well against him, if I'll be honest. It was a good battle. But at the end of the day, Saka come through on it, you know, and that was a good thing. Like. So Chelsea were a little bit open, and look what we've done to them. And the greatest thing about that for me is if Spurs are watching that, they must be thinking like, right, do we go open against Arsenal, and if we do, what's going to happen? And I know for a fact that they are going to go open against us.
Well, it's funny you say that, Lee, because I think they will as well, because Ange Postecoglou is the sort of manager that is trying to instill his style of play regardless of the opposition, which I actually respect. He got a lot of criticism, Postecoglou, early in the season for this high line stuff, and I personally backed him. I think you have to sometimes go through the pain to really change an identity of a football team and a club, and that might mean you get battered a few times. But look, we're the example of that. It's very easy to forget now that the first couple of years of Arteta playing out from the back, we let in a lot of cheap goals from playing out from the back. And I remember a lot of Arsenal fans, even on Arsenal fan TV, saying, "Oh, this playing out from the back, just get it down the line, just kick it, But look at us now. Some of our best goals have come from playing out from the back. So I think he will stick to his guns. But if he doesn't, that would equally be interesting, because it's, do you stick to your principles or do you pivot to the opposition that you're playing? Because if they do come for us in their usual way, they might be in trouble. But equally, he might think that it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
Well, if I can jump in here, and I feel like we may be moving into the Tottenham chat a little bit here, but Postecoglou's made it very clear he does not care what the outside narratives are. He does not care what the media are saying, what the general kind of let's call it the mainline thinking is around the club. E.g., if you have 9 men, you should park the bus. E.g., you have to get top 4 this season because you need the money. He's said, we are going to play a certain way because that's what I believe in. He has said, what's the point? He said, you all think about top 4, but quite frankly, if I'm not winning things, then I don't really care. For me, it's about being as the best we can be and, you know, instilling the right kind of, you know, all the right learnings that he feels Tottenham need. And he's not, and I believe him, you know, the way he talks, I believe he's not that bothered if he gets Champions League football
Daniel
or not.
Levy will disagree with him, but I actually respect his position in terms of Postecoglou.
I totally respect his position. Because Tottenham fans laughed at us when they beat us to top 4, but any kind of serious football fan knew that we were on a better long-term trajectory because of the style of football we were playing, and the fact that you could see that in our performances, Arsenal were going a certain way, and Conte, to be fair, I fully expected Conte to have a much better season the year after, but we're talking medium to long term. And I thought maybe they'd have one more year of it. I didn't expect it to fall away that quickly, to be fair. But now they had to sort of start from scratch quite quickly after that. And I respect this position from Postecoglou, and I think Tottenham will take the game toss, which makes them both dangerous and get-atable, if that's a word. I really don't know.
I think it's going to be open as more open than yesterday. And listen, I know for a fact that they're not going to. They're going to go for, you know, they're going for it.
It worked for them in the first. Let's not forget that everything we're saying now was, you know, correct going into the first game, and I'm going to be honest, they played better than us at the Emirates, and they did what they do. So, if they're probably thinking, well, we're home now. We done well against them last time. Probably one of the better performances against. Well, we've had a few drop points at Emirates this season, but that was a team that done what they do against us, rather than a team that's set up to stifle us and nick something.
They were good.
So it was a rare one this season. So I'm weary, but going back to Odegaard and the form he's on, not only recently but this calendar year, an open game. I'm looking at him again because I just want to touch in on Odegaard one more time because we mentioned this performance as his best, and I agree, but there's one for me that's up there with that, and that's this calendar year as well. I think Porto game where our backs were against the walls, we needed to work hard. He was the hardest worker, and he was also the difference maker with that moment into Trossard. I think those two games, very different performances. One, back against the wall, hard work, determination, and a moment of quality. One, freedom to express, flow, create, leads. Both performances equally as good as each other in different ways. And I think that Lee's right. The only thing stopping people from calling Odegaard world class is probably a title or a major over the line. But the reality is, you put him into most sides, he is quality. I won't say he's the best 10 in the world, because there's different ones like Musiala or Wirtz or De Bruyne. There's very different ones, but he is different class.
He's more than a 10 as well.
James mentioned, true. James mentioned that he thought that it was possibly his best game in an Arsenal shirt. I think that's a shout. I would argue which is why we're chatting about the trip to Spurs this weekend. I think the performance last year at White Hart Lane, or wherever they call their stadium, I think that was his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. That day, he was absolutely, he was, they say unplayable. He was just, I don't know what he took that day. He was an absolute animal that day. He was brilliant, like almost perfection that day. But yeah, if we can get that anywhere near that performance again this weekend, we'll win.
Can I just say one last thing quickly, because I think we've fully tackled the Spurs game now. But just the final thing I want to say on Chelsea is I want to say well done to Arteta, because I know we said on a few podcasts ago that some felt we don't give him enough credit. But when things go wrong, we probably highlight him too much, and that's probably fair to a degree. But I actually think he made bold decisions going with finally the midfield we all wanted to see. Was Partey ready earlier? We don't know, but clearly, this is a case of now give us what you can give us for the last 4 or 5 games. Tomiyasu coming in, I thought did really well. Trossard, that was a big decision. Havertz up top, Trossard on left, especially. I thought Jesus was good at Wolves, so that was a big decision. He got it right, albeit the first half did make me question whether he got it right, but he did. And then the subs. I mean, can I just say, what? It's so silly, but wasn't it great just to watch Jesus, Martinelli, Jorginho, Zinchenko all stroll onto the pitch at once? I think it was a 4-man sub, wasn't it? They all came on at the same time. I think it was anyway. But for them all to come on basically at 5-0, 4-0, I think it was 5-0, job done. That was great. It kind of showed off our strength and depth. So I thought we got the subs absolutely right. All the right players I wanted coming on did, and all the players that I wanted coming off did. And that includes Bukayo Saka, because we've sort of made jokes in previews or whatever that he never gets a rest. But I thought it was good to get him off and get Vieira out on that right hand side, see how he did. And you know what? It didn't all come off for him. I thought he looked bright. And I know we were winning and whatever, but I thought he looked all right. I thought he did some good stuff. Arteta.
One interesting thing to come out of it, was that I think I've been saying for the last few weeks, Rice and Odegaard, can they keep up the work rate that they're doing and everything? They kept them 2 on yesterday. He could have took them off, but he didn't. So he must feel confident, behind the scenes that they've got enough energy and all that, But the energy levels of them 2 players is unbelievable. Odegaard, has got all the skills in the world, but he's prepared to work hard. And do you know what? If he does have a bad game, and he don't have many, you forgive him. You forgive him because of that work rate. And I know, I remember Roy Keane saying, it's a give me that you should work hard. It is, but there are certain players that don't work hard, and he just, he just takes the biscuit when it comes to that. I just love it. I do really like him, and if he does a bad pass, I'm always like, don't worry about it, because of the work rate that he does and everything like that. And so that was interesting. And I thought Vieira looked good. And just finally, I've got to say that Ben White's performance again yesterday was just. I'm just, I think now, he's a right back, and they're always going to be not given the credit that he deserves. But I don't know if you see it yesterday, but he had no respect for Mudryk whatsoever. He just smashed for him a few times. Come on, though. I absolutely loved it. He left him there one time on the floor and just looked round at him. What are you doing? I just
back, I saw that.
I just want to meet Ben White and just pat him on the back. He's just got that sort of thing that I really love. You know what I mean?
Hey, Lee, don't you think Adams and Keown would have loved Ben White?
He actually is playing in an era that he shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Because he's just one of those people that you just. He's got that shithousery that I love. You know what I mean? And it was. You know what I mean?
Compliment that is, by the way.
Yeah. I could see Ben White chopping someone on the neck like Keown did.
And they're all going, well done, Ben.
Maybe Old Trafford.
It's just, nowadays, you shouldn't be doing that, but a bit of just,
get him arrested.
I just think he's just fantastic. And Mudryk, yesterday must have been thinking, my God, we'll come up against it. He's just got no respect for nobody. I see, he really hasn't, and it's just, I just love him. I really do. Think as a footballer, I love him.
Can I just kind of finally say, because I've got to go in a minute, lads. I think just to kind of back up James's point about Arteta, I think he does deserve a lot of credit because it's been a difficult week and it's not finished yet. We've got to finish it off with a Spurs win, but our first request was get 4 points ahead. Get 4 points ahead, and it's two clean. I'm a clean sheet freak. It's 2 clean sheets in games that could have been quite tricky. And let's be honest, across the 2 games, have we really been peppered, overly tested? I think we've been solid and we've handled our business. So to be in this position whereby we are now 4 points ahead, City, what are you saying? Arteta deserves a lot of credit. But just on the Spurs game itself, it's a big game because if we can beat Spurs, that's a brilliant 7 days. 7 days? 8 days. That's a brilliant 8 days against 3 teams that could cause us problems. I think it's about keeping our heads. It's about taking our chances and being clinical. Spurs will be wary of us. I don't think they're scared of us, but they'll be wary of us. And we have to use that aura of a team that's on things to our advantage. We've got to really impose ourselves because they'll be looking to end our season. I said this against Chelsea as well, but they'll be looking to end our season. And let's have it right. If Man City win their game on Thursday and we don't win against Spurs, I think our season is done. Even though we'll still be ahead, I believe, at that point.
I don't think Man City are going to beat Brighton.
I'm not sure either, Turkish.
I just don't.
I thought
we're going to go through against Bayern.
They'll win 5-1 now, just like Microsoft. But I'm not convinced it's a definite City win either. But we're handling our business.
I just feel like drop points is coming, and it'd be perfect if it comes Thursday.
I agree.
I don't know. I feel like, firstly, I think they'll beat Brighton. I think if they drop points on Thursday, I'm worried we shit the bed for Spurs. For me, I think Forest is a weirdly difficult one. Not because of the drop points there last year, but because they kind of have the natural ingredients to, like Morgan Gibbs-White can do something out of nothing. Hudson-Odoi and Elanga have the kind of pace to hurt them. Chris Wood up front is just the kind of, shithouse of a striker that might just get one from a set piece or something. They got sort of big, strong centre backs. I think Forest might be quite well equipped to actually hurt City. But I agree. The more this has gone on, the more I felt like if we win all our games, I think we'll be champions. And this is the other reason why the 5-0 was so great, because we're really cementing that goal difference thing. Like, that's another reason we've just really put more pressure on City. It's like, you have to get the
They have to win.
Because
that's what we've done yesterday. You know what I mean? A draw ain't good enough for them now. Yeah. That's how they look at, because of that goal average.
I do wonder if mathematically there's any way where, so if we win all our games and they draw one, but they smash everyone else, then that becomes a different conversation. But now we've scored another 5. You just feel like we're just too far ahead.
Yeah, we are. I think goal difference we'll have the best goal difference end of the season, whatever happens. So, that's like a +1. Jordan, Is now the time. When you do leave, don't forget to send me your prediction for
Yes,
Tottenham
I
Arsenal.
will send it to
Not
you.
that
I
it
will send
matters.
it
I
to
mean,
you.
to be
Mars
honest, don't
says,
send it.
nah, it don't even matter. Does it really matter what he says, really?
Mars are just void. Yeah,
Man said, you know what? Don't bother. Don't bother.
not
Don't
applicable.
bother.
Well, that's what we
Don't
can
bother.
put this week.
I think I can still win the league mathematically, but it's gonna take yeah, a madness. But I'll
It's
send
gonna
it.
take something, that's
I'll
for
send
sure.
it. So
Jordan, go do your thing. People, Jordan's gone, so the Forever Arsenal is left to the three of us, me, Lee, and James.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people are going to be happy with that, aren't they?
Yeah, actually, hit the like button now. Get the
Yeah,
likes up to 2,000 right
the
now,
like
people. Right
button's
now.
Yeah.
doubled.
Likes are poor again at this point. Oh, bless him.
Oh, dear.
Leave your comments as well. What do you think of Jordan leaving midway through? Should we dock a point, or is it not worth it, people? Is it not worth it? The table's going to be shown shortly. I don't
Feels
know.
harsh.
I think he's got to be Doctor Point, really.
No, that is harsh, Lee.
No. Hear me out, James. Hear me out. To saying that he hates Chelsea more than he does Tottenham. Come on, like, you know what I mean? Like that. You know, I've had to sort of cover his arse a little bit there today, like, but you know, it should be ingrained in you, shouldn't it?
Not the first time. Not the first time.
No, not the first time. He's made me think: is he really an Arsenal fan? But
Listen, where was we? Tottenham. We've touched on it. Let's do like thoughts on lineups. We talked about Partey's performance against Chelsea. I mean, I assume we all want him to start the same midfield three against Tottenham.
yeah, I do. I think that same back four. I think that's the back four now that plays every game. The front three is going to be an interesting one. As it's so open, I'd like to see Martinelli, but I don't think you can leave Trossard out at the moment. I think it's very, very harsh if you leave Trossard out. I actually left Trossard out yesterday. I said, like, you know, maybe play Martinelli, or Trossard. But I actually went Jesus in there as a wide left player. And I think that maybe against Tottenham he might do that. Will be the ones. But if he does get left out, Trossard, I think it's very, very harsh. Very, very harsh. Important goal yesterday again.
I don't think he will. Back to back goals, right? 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll.
I think 3 and 4 in it. I think.
It's 3 and 4, with the Brighton goal. Should have been 4 and 4, really.
Yeah, the Aston Villa first half. Yeah, can't forget about that. So I assume he'll go with the same. I think Arteta's fair like that. I've never seen Arteta drop a player that's scored in a few games in a row. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Trossard's just a very efficient footballer, and that's not to take away from his skill and quality, which he has in abundance. But like, he's very good at, if he can't beat a player, he'll drop a step over or a feint and then come back inside and retain possession. He's one of the best at that. He's got that kind of Cazorla, I'm going one way, then I turn the other. The goal, you would think that first goal is kind of primed for like a, Martinelli with bags of pace to attack that space. But Trossard just times his run really well, make sure he hits the target. And not all our players do that. He's very efficient in front of goal. He always asks a question of the keeper.
So Trossard starts then. So same front three for you, James?
Same team for me. I think you beat Chelsea 5-0. Don't mess with it, in my opinion. But
I think that's a great point. But I just think that if it is going to be open as what they say it is, then it might suit Martinelli. That's the only thing that
it suits Martinelli, doesn't it? I mean, you've got to think, right, up against Pedro Porro, he doesn't just get up the pitch. This guy inverts. He gets into number 10 spaces. I mean, Martinelli might be like the perfect player to exploit that. I just don't know if that's. Do you take Trossard out now? I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to agree with the same team. As much as I love Martinelli, I want him to kickstart his season. We've got 4 games to fucking go, so we ain't got time to worry about people kickstarting their season. Trossard scoring, keep him in. Partey, great performance, and not only a great performance, but Odegaard's best performance of the season, according to some. Declan Rice, a 9 out of 10, according to some. So did Partey help that midfield three all level up against Chelsea potentially? So yeah, for me, lineups remain the same. And let's do predictions. Should we go into predictions? All good?
Yeah. I don't really
Yeah.
know what to say now. Like, you know what I mean? One of my Spurs mates, I know that you know what they're like. He turned around and said, "Oh, I'm dreading this game. You're going to win 3 or 4-0." Like, you know, and I said, "Oh, shut up! You're just saying that to cover your ass." You know what I mean? But like, I think this could be a high-scoring game.
Lee, do you think, because I can't lie, James said it earlier and I said it yesterday. If I'm honest, if you ask me what I think's going to happen this week, and listen, I've been wrong so many times. Yeah, so this is just thoughts. I think Brighton gets something from City, then I think we potentially drop points against Tottenham. I just think there's a few twists and turns to come. Like the season's
I
not
know
over.
exactly what you mean.
It just
Yeah.
feels like. So, Lee, do you think Thursday will have an effect on what you think for Sunday or your confidence? Like, do you think if Brighton beat Man City or draw with Man City, that
That's a great point, because if you look at it, I think it affected us. Aston Villa, I do. I still think that it did, like, you know, and you can't write out Liverpool in this game, because Liverpool got a massive game tonight in the Merseyside derby. You know, it could be like, oh, we drop points against Spurs, Brighton drop points, and Liverpool go on their merry way. So I don't think you can be writing them off. Look, listen, the ideal scenario this week is that Everton. I've always loved Everton. Like, get a result, and then and Brighton do, and then, you know, it's back in our hands, isn't it? You know, so
You're a big Brighton fan too, aren't you, Lee?
I've always had a little soft spot for Brighton. You know, they do a nice stick of rock down there in Brighton.
I'm also a big Forest fan. I'm a big Fulham fan too.
Yeah.
I've always
You
loved
know,
them.
it's just funny, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got loads of respect for, you know, we're not growing up Nottingham Forest, Brian Clough, you know what I mean? European winners. Always had a lot of time for them, you know what I mean? And admiration for them,
heritage?
like, you know, so.
I agree. Can I say I totally agree on this point that, like, I feel whatever happens in the Merseyside derby and the City trip to Brighton might have some weird impact on this weekend. We need a repeat of last year's results. Brighton took a point against City and we won at Tottenham, albeit there was 4 or 5 months between those results. But yeah, we'd love for that to be repeated. I want to kick things off because I don't want to end on a negative, so I'll start with the prediction. I actually think we might draw this one. I actually do. And it hurts me to say it, we are very capable of beating them. But I'm with you, Turkish. I feel like there's still more twists and turns.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. I feel like Brighton could draw with City, we draw with Tottenham, and then I'd still be hopeful of one more draw for City, and then somewhere in there Liverpool have to keep dropping points.
Yeah.
But I always had this game down as the one where I didn't think, because let's just be really honest about Tottenham. Forest went there and lost 3-1 the other day, but they had chances. And pretty much every game I've seen them at home, Luton, whoever it might be, we can go through them all, teams have had chances there. So they will concede chances, and I think we'll score. But they're a really good attacking outlet. Like, they are good. I think Udogie's a big miss, but they got players that can just... Son doesn't need much. He could be out the game, but he just doesn't need much in terms of an eye on goal. They worry me as an attacking outlet. If we lose, I'll be really bitterly disappointed. Not just because you've lost the North London derby and the title race is over, because from a pure match-up perspective, I think we're good enough not to lose this game. When you look at how our defence has been, the fact that they've been very open at home, especially. But it just wouldn't surprise me if we do get 2 goals, but they find 2 as well. Like, I can't really forget what they did at the Emirates. They played good football. We actually struggled to have an answer for it, albeit we've got a lot better since then. I want to go 2-2, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong. Hope a bit of a reverse jinx there, but yeah.
2-2. All right, so James has gone 2-2. As you can see, the prediction table is on the screen. No change. Everyone got a point from the Chelsea one. No one guessed the correct score. James is top on 40 points, 7 ahead of me and second on 33. Lee's just behind on 32 and Jordan's on 26. So that's how it's looking right now. James has gone 2-2. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. Lee?
You know, I think that could be could be I've got confidence in Arsenal that they're going to go and do this. Like, I think Arsenal will win all their next few games. Whether that'll be enough or not, I do. And I'm going to be reserved and say 2-0. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's more.
2-0, yeah?
I'm thinking this could be a 4-1. I'm not sure, like, you know what I mean? Like, I really do. I think that Spurs will be open. And you only had to look at that Newcastle game when people go, turn around and say, like, yeah, well, they'd be up for this game. Well, they weren't up for the game which was going to qualify them for Champions League. That was a massive game for against Newcastle, and they fell flat on their faces in that game.
Yeah, but away from home, you can get overwhelmed by Newcastle. Like, I totally get what you're saying, Lee. Like, the thing that does give me encouragement, this isn't the Conte Tottenham or Mourinho Tottenham where I feel like they'd have really planned for us. Now, I'm not saying Postecoglou's not planning for us. Of course he is. I think he's a good manager. But I'm talking in terms of, like, I think it will be their way or his way or no way. And so I don't know if that means we ship a load of goals and actually it becomes a bit of a bad afternoon for us, or we cut through him and walk through him. I don't know. This could honestly go either way, purely because the way Postecoglou approaches the game.
I think there's two ways to look at it. And I agree with you. And this is where I think this is going to be a little bit on Arteta. I think Spurs struggle to break teams down, particularly at home. You know, if you have a look at it, they've struggled against the other side. If we play, I don't think we will. I think we'll go toe to toe with them. But if we was to just sort of sit in a little bit and hit them, I think that they're vulnerable because they do leave 2-on-2s. You know what I mean? Like, now, if you leave 2-on-2 against Arsenal, you know, that's a brave man. I'll be really honest about it. You know, how can I say it? Like, you know, and I know that they're going to leave second 1-on-1 tomorrow at the weekend. They're going to. I don't know. You know, I mean, is that suicidal at times? You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like, you know, listen. Every time they go forward, it's going to be nervy, and every time we go forward, I'll be. Do you know? It's like going back to the old days of the Arsenal Spurs games when they're going forward. I'm actually nervous. When we was going forward, I think, oh, thank God they can't score. You know what I mean? I hate these games. I really do hate this game. You know, and particularly at their ground, it's traditionally like tight games and draws. Like, you know, I know what James is saying. Like, you know, but really interesting point. You know, 10 minutes to go from the end of that game, and it's level. What do we do? You know, when do Liverpool play?
Isn't it? Let me get it correct.
Yeah, are we first up? Are we? Or
so Liverpool are away to West Ham at 12:30 on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
it could have an effect. And when Man City playing?
Liverpool play away twice before we play that North London derby. Like, they have the opportunity to put pressure on us as well. Man City play after us, so we play at 2:00 against Spurs, and they're at 4:30 away to Forest.
So if Liverpool win their next two games, they are actually 3 points in front, putting massive pressure on us at the Tottenham game.
Yep, West Ham, Everton away as well too. I mean, West Ham recent. Yeah.
I always like West Ham as well. Like, I don't know what it is about West Ham. They've got a lovely feeling. It's a lovely little place, isn't it? Like, you know, I used to love Upton Park and Claret and Blue and Hammers and
all of that good stuff.
Ray Winston and all of that. Danny Dyer. I've always thought they were fantastic actors.
Yeah, Dimitri Payet. What a player.
So that's the predictions in. I've gone 3-1. Lee's gone 2-0. James has gone for a 2-2. Jordan hasn't put his prediction in, but as mentioned earlier, he ain't got a hope in hell to.
I think we've got it. I think we've got it in the. I think it's a 2-1 to Arsenal.
Oh, you went 2-1, yeah?
Yeah, that's just been put in the group chat. Yeah.
Good up, Jordan.
2-1, but yeah,
you'll have the chance to gain ground on me, people.
Yeah, there's a chance.
I'm letting you back into the title.
There's a chance. This is where it all starts.
For what it's worth, I obviously hope you bloody gain ground on me in the title race here. I'd have nothing more.
Cool. That's the predictions done, people. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below. This is usually the time we head over to comments of the day, but please pause before we do comments of the day. Going to big up Steak Mate one more time. You know what it is. You see them on the screen. There's a QR code there as well. And with the North London derby coming up this weekend, we have decided to put a group bet together on this game in the Steak Mate app. The group together, Fourever Arsenal. It makes sense. So what you got to do is you open the app, people. You're straight away on the home screen. You can see various games that you can bet on. I don't want you to do that yet. You go to the bottom row, click squad, and you can create a group. Once you create that group, there's a code. You send that code out to friends, family, loved ones, whoever it is, WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, Twitter groups, all of that. And you can have everyone all in one chat, viewing the same bet. Everyone can put in on that bet if they want, or you can create your own bet for others to put in. So we've got a Fourever Arsenal group and we've created our bet, and we've all put in one metric. I've gone for a full-time result of an Arsenal win. James has gone over 2.5 goals in the whole game. Jordan's gone for a draw at half-time, and Lee's gone for both teams not to score. So standing with his 2-0 prediction there. So that's the four we've put in together. That worked out to 66-1. We've all put a fiver in. Well, I say we all. Jordan's yet to put his fiver in. Actually, Jordan has. Lee's yet to put his fiver in. Lee, get your money out, mate. What's going on?
It isn't that. We've gone on to this Riverside thing today. It took me 6 hours to work that out, like, you know, and then you're giving me an app as well, like, you know. So I will get there. Don't worry.
Don't worry, we got a few days. So £5 each. So that's a £20 stake on those four metrics is 66-1. At this moment, there's £15 in the pot. Lee will put his £5 in over the next few hours, day or so, depending on how he can get his head around it. And yeah, there's £1,000 up for grabs minimum with that bet. Big up stake, mate. Because I can't lie personally. I'm not really a betting man in terms of going to the shop or you know, doing that sort of stuff, but I make bets with friends. We actually do accumulators in our WhatsApp group. So this is an app that, you know, I can't lie, I'm gonna download. Well, I've downloaded it. I'm gonna use, because it protects. You know, sometimes when you're doing accumulators with groups, someone won't send their money in time, someone won't send their suggestion in time. It kind of ruins the whole thing. This is all in. You got to do it. If you're not doing it, out the squad. So yeah, big up Steak Mate for making a home for group betting and betting between friends. Show them some love, and obviously be gamble aware. 18 or over in the UK. Gamble responsibly. Let's move. Comments of the day. We all ready to go?
What?
Yeah, there's some good ones, man.
I can't do my comment of the day, right, as you well know, like, you know, because I'm on the phone. But it was one, and I don't know if you can help me out with it, like, and scroll down or whatever. But it was a very good point when it says, poor Lee, something on the lines of poor Lee, you know, goes to every game and he doesn't get the chance to choose what time of day it is, like, you know, like basically I'm being stitched up every week, like, you know, coming in at 2:00 in the morning, doing 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, like, really to cater for one person who's, you know, who's got more subscriptions to Netflix than he has Arsenal, like, you know. I mean, let's be honest about it. So that was my comment. It's in there somewhere. So
All right. We'll allow it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool.
We're gonna have to carry this section, Turkish, because Jordan's not here and Lee's comment was crap. So I've got a few. How many? Where do you? Go on, you kick things off, Turkish.
Well, I've actually only got one, but my one's from Ranveer. Big up Ranveer. He says, met James, Turkish and Cecil outside the Emirates. Top guys, respect to all of them and the non-stop work they put in on this channel. Had a good chat with my man Turkish. Only downside is I never met Jordan. It's not a downside, mate. Don't worry. You ain't missed out on nothing.
I've got something to say. Can I say something now? I'll change it around. I met a family yesterday at a game. Dwayne Scour Schooner, his name is. Like, you know, he's had a bit of ill health and a couple of strokes and that. But his cousin works in the security for the Arsenal, and because of the illness and all that, Arsenal, Ben White sent him some tickets and everything like yesterday, and he had to be sitting next to me. Went and met Ben White and all the players, Saka and all that after the game, him and his family, like, you know. So it was fantastic. And he's a big Fourever Arsenal fan and watches it all the time. I think he actually said quite liked Jordan as well. Like, you know what I mean? That must have been a mad moment of his. But anyway, like, you know, watches the show, and it was lovely to meet him and his family. And what a special time he had last night, because he had all the photos done, and also he had one with me. So there you go.
Get well
That's
soon,
nice.
mate.
That's
Love for
good
the
to know.
support. And to be honest, yesterday a few people,
The
you've
players do
reminded
that,
me.
yeah.
Ash from the North, I remembered. Big up Ash from the North. And there was a couple Icelandic gooners that came down straight from Iceland. I'm not going to try pronounce your names on this because I'll cecil it all up. So big up Iceland and big up the community coming down from wherever you're coming down from to watch the Arsenal. James.
No, can I also just say, Lee, like, thanks for sharing that, because I always think it's good to know that the club and the players, you know, are doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Obviously,
brilliant.
You know, we wish them all the best, but
Yeah.
you know, that's the club doing the right things, that kind of stuff. Big up Ben White and everyone. Right, back to comments of the week. Should I go through a few? Yeah, can you hear me, Turkish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Authorize your comments of the day or what?
We're waiting
Well,
for
no,
them, like,
I
you know, you've actually built yourself up for these comments of the day, like, by slagging others off. So, like, let's make sure you do the business. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, then they're all going to be a letdown, but I'll go through them anyway. Avgustino says, Jordan nervously waiting to hear the result of the game in the intro.
That was a very good one. That I did see that one.
That's good. I like this. It's a bit of a throwback joke from Hassan. We need to sign Jan and Villa and Johan Gorkov in the summer. It's reported that Arteta has been given a £200 million war chest in the summer. Luke Locke says, James asked the panel if they saw the graphic after the game showing players played minutes. Jordan looks up and thinks, oh no, they didn't show the graphics after the game's highlight show. You always get me on the highlights one. Yeah, they're good. This is a nice one from Lee Thompson. Says, this is an amazing podcast and the commitment to recording it during early hours of the morning is really appreciated too. Thank you. And we appreciate your comments and all your thoughts. Now the final one. I had to get some actual comments in from the show because this was just call it tweet of the day, which is from, now I'm lost it. Where is it? Oh God, I forgot who tweeted it. But okay, I'm gonna try and find credit for it. But it was a picture.
Was StreamYard, I would have pressed the outro.
I know you would have. But no, it's funny. Have you heard that Anne Hathaway is a massive Arsenal fan?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a clip going around of her celebrating the Trossard goal when we scored against Wolves. And someone photoshopped her face over Stuart McFarlane's face with the quote, I fucking love this football club.
Where's that on Twitter?
Yeah, actually, do you know what, guys? I retweeted it. It's from Southend Santi. This is my club. I fucking love this football club. And it's Stuart McFarlane.
Some clever people out here, aren't there?
With Anne Hathaway's face, just looking at the place. Absolute genius.
There's some absolute clever people out there, I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? So.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so there you go. I've retweeted that if you're going to have a little look at it. It's so clever. So yeah.
Was that your last one, yeah?
Yeah, there you go. See, I pulled through for everyone. Yeah. You're welcome.
A few comments there and a tweet, people. So hit the like button. James pulled through. No Jordan, and Lee's on his phone, so he can't pick out a comment. But we've got through quite a few anyway. Lee, love as always. James, love as always. I think
enjoyed that. Enjoyed it. It's been a good 24 hours. Come on, guys. Like, you know,
enjoy it, man. No, Arsenal fans, soak it in and enjoy it. When we had that bad spell, we were all very down. It's not every day you slap up Chelsea, a big six side, a London rival in a derby, 5-0 on your in the title race. That's good. Soak in all the content and enjoy it. That is a
I just want to also, before we go, just finally big up the Emirates crowd yesterday. I thought they were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant yesterday. I could hardly hear Chelsea. Sometimes I heard Aston Villa. I'm going to say I heard Aston Villa. And I had a little bit of a dig at the Arsenal crowd, the Emirates crowd last time. But I thought that they was superb yesterday. And I know there was a lot of trouble with tickets and things like that yesterday and everything like that. But there was no empty seats there yesterday. It was full. And the atmosphere was fantastic. And I know it was a party atmosphere in the end, but there was a little bit of nerves going in there. But the fans didn't show that yesterday. They was right behind the team. And big up to the Emirates crowd yesterday. It was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to be in there yesterday and enjoy it. So listen, if the Arsenal team don't play well, I'll say it. If the Arsenal fans let themselves down a little bit, I'll say it. But yesterday, they was magnificent, and it was a pleasure to be in there yesterday. And yeah, and another thing I've got to say, I know it's hard. We've got to enjoy this, boys. I know it's tough at times, but you've got to enjoy it. The fans that are going there on Sunday, give it as much as you can. Let's hope we win the game. But we've got 4 games now. This could be the best season for a very, very long while, So, and I'll tell you what, if we actually do pull it over the line, it'd probably be better than the Invincibles in a way, because it was a little bit more expected to win sort of titles back then. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you feel that now.
I get you.
Never seen us win one.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah. Well, James never seen it like Turkish. You know what I mean?
I'd say this would be more reminiscent of 97, 98.
Yeah.
When they the first title in a little while, new manager, even though it was his first full season, didn't really expect to win the league, and we went and done it.
Yeah.
Any final points, Lee?
No. I'll, what time's the tactical show out?
You shouldn't have asked him. You lined him up. People, hope you've enjoyed Forever Arsenal. We'll be back after the Tottenham game. Hopefully it's still all smiles just like this, so we're going to end it just like this. Leave us your thoughts, comments, predictions, all of that in the comment section. Hit the like button and show Stakemate some love. Bet with friends, download the app, use the link. There's a promo code there as well for free £5 bets. Show them some love. Show us some love. Love for the love. We're out. Peace.